Hey guys, welcome back to Kok Gives Gachas, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to avoid these deadly mistakes and ascend your units the right way. Let's dive right in. So first I want to touch on the basics so that you understand why ascension is so important and why these mistakes that I'm going to touch on later is also so deadly. So right here, if I click on my Petra, I upgrade it from Epic Plus to Legendary, I would unlock extra level 20 levels of level cap. And here on screen you can see the various level caps, right? For Epic you have level 100, Epic Plus 120, Legendary level 140, Legendary Plus 160, and then subsequently at Eternal you have 180 and 200 for Eternal Plus, and Origin 240, and for every single Origin unit after that, or rather the first Origin unit, you have level 245 unlocked. Subsequently every other Origin unit you will get plus 5 levels to the level cap. But now you might be asking, hey Kok Gives Gachas, what has that got to do with anything? Obviously I'm not a kid, right? I know that I need to ascend the units that I want to level higher to unlock their level cap. It's very basic. However, when it comes to the significance, you have to take a look at the level sync. So you wouldn't face this problem in the early stages of the game because your level cap, you kind of wouldn't reach it, right? In the sense, for the first like maybe 9 chapters, you'll be hovering around level 100 to 120 and you'll be doing just fine, right? But when you come to level 140, you will understand why this is so important, because right, this level sync here takes the top 5 level units that you have, and then it's going to apply the level sync to the rest of units. What that means is that if you have 4 units at Origin, you can level these units to level 240, but you have that 1 unit at Legend here, you would be stuck at, all your units will be stuck at level 140 because you can't level past Legend, right? If you cannot proceed on that 5th unit, right, all the 4 units, the other 4 units are Origin, doesn't matter at all, which is the problem that a lot of people are facing. And I'm sure at this point, a lot of you are looking at your screens, nodding and going, "Step bro, I'm stuck," because you made this exact mistake. And what is this mistake that I'm talking about? Is that you either ascended too many Legendary Plus units of a single faction, or right, you ascended a lot of units that you do not have 4 copies of, you unable to bring them to Legendary Plus, and now they're stuck there at level 140. So what can you guys do to prevent this mistake from hampering your progress, and what kind of strategy we can employ? For that, we have to go right into my souls page to take a look at the souls here. And the strategy is very simple. What you want to do is to pick 1 unit from each faction, and then that you want to Origin, and then the 1 last unit from one of these factions also. So 2 units from 1 faction, 1 unit each from the other 3 factions that you are going to ascend to Legendary and beyond, so that you have all the resources in one place and you avoid having the problem of not having enough resources. So now your mind might be asking, hey Kok Gives Gachas, how do I pick which units I want to Origin, right? I don't know how to pick, right? So the criteria is very simple. Just look across your factions and go see which units you have the most copies of, and just pick that 1 unit. And then from the faction that the last faction itself that you're going to pick 2 units from, just see which faction you have the most fodder for. And what do I mean by that fodder? As in this Alicia Lewin, you can see here I have 4 Epic Plus copies of this, right? And one way you can do it for the unit or the faction that you are going to have 2 units from is also to use all your type summon tickets on that faction, so that naturally you are going to get more units from that faction, you're going to get more fodders that way. But not just that, right? You might also face another problem whereby, look at this here, if imagine my Memphi is this is not Memphi, right, and this is like a cherry, and you are thinking to yourself, hey Kok Gives Gachas, am I going to Origin a cherry just so that I can unlock the level cap? And to that I can say, if you don't want to, because we all know that cherry at this point is a lower tier unit, you don't want to, feel free not to do it, right? Just go for a unit that you have at least 4 copies of, right? Don't go with a unit that you have 2 copies. Anything below 4 copies is quite risky unless there's a specific scenario. Looking at this, you can see my Talia, I only have 2 copies, but I'm quite confident I can get it to 8 copies once the banner drops. So if you have a plan in mind, you can go and execute it. This is not a hard rule at all, so definitely don't feel compelled to upgrade a unit that you don't really like if you have the most copies of, right? Just look for the other unit that you have the second most copies of, at least 4 copies, or if you're confident you are able to get 8 copies in the future because you know that the banner is going to drop. And also one last problem, which is the problem that I also faced when I was upgrading for Undead faction, So for the undead faction, previously I do not have even 3 copies of anything, right? All my units are actually at 1 copy. So I have 1 unit, 1 copy Irusha, Rebecca, Petra, Violet, and also Prim. And then subsequently, I picked up more copies of Petra. But before that, I didn't have. So what did I do? Simply put, I just made the fodder legendary plus, right? Karen is a fodder here, and this is a way that you can have unlimited flexibility at the cost of a bit of progression, right? Doesn't really matter, but because I don't know what I want to pick, right, from this faction itself, and I don't have enough copies. So if you face this problem, go with the fodder. Subsequently, once your Petra hits, once the unit that you want hits the legendary plus, you can sacrifice this Karen that is at legendary plus to make that unit eternal plus or eternal. So to do that also is to give yourself a lot of room to decide what unit you want. So looking at Petra here, even though I have 4 copies of it, I still don't want to upgrade it to Eternal. I know that Petra is really good, but at this point in time, I don't really need a Petra at Eternal. The stages that I'm clearing just fine with the Chloe, and Chloe is also going to hit Eternal very soon. So yeah, I don't see a point in doing this. And with this, it gives me flexibility because Velena is coming out soon, so I want to see the Velena skill set before I decide, right? If Velena is good, I would draw for Velena, and then I would put I would make Velena my undead unit for this undead faction itself that I want to ascend to Origin, and then I'm going to feed Karen to it instead. I feel that this is a good way if you don't know what units you want to ascend. Now, if some of you guys have already made the mistakes of ascending too many legendary units and legendary plus units, and now you're stuck, what I can suggest is that to stop the bleeding, stop ascending more legendary and legendary plus units. Instead, wait patiently for the fodder to come, and then you are able to progress with 1 unit of each faction so that you can progress to Origin, and then 2 units for one of factions, right? Because this mistake, if I'm very honest, it's quite it's quite a big setback to the progress of the account itself, which is very difficult to fix once you go too deep, right? Once you have 4 units of one faction, you probably already spend like 8 copies of the fodder itself, and you still only have 1 unit at legend or legendary plus, and that itself, that faction, it's quite hard to progress to Origin. Another approach you can do is that instead of going with this route itself, just see which unit that you can Origin, right? Focus all your efforts on getting that unit to Origin, have it carry you while you slowly upgrade the rest of the units to Eternal plus that way. And that about does it for this video. I hope that you guys don't make these mistakes that I've highlighted in this video and employ this strategy that is very effective in helping you progress. However, disclaimer, if you just want to play this game for the waifus alone, right, just upgrade your favorite waifu. Don't really have to follow this strategy and stress yourself out by upgrading a unit that you don't really like. Also, as mentioned in this video, a good way for you guys to get more duplicates, more copies of epic units is through the event. So definitely check out this video over here, whereby I'll teach you how to do max damage in this Chloe event so that you are able to obtain copies of Chloe and Naya very easily. I'll see you guys over there. This is Kok Gives Context signing off.